Sitting by the fireplace on a warm winter evening, I watched TV with my older brother. My parents went to bed early and my brother and I sat up late at night, as we got carried away watching a movie. My brother fell asleep. I watched the movie to the end. Getting up from the sofa, I went to the toilet to get ready for bed. Went to the toilet, closed the door. I leaned over to the sink to wash. When I raised my head, behind me I saw an ugly creature with 3 incomprehensible limbs, all black and dirty. I automatically grabbed what first came to hand. It was hairspray, and swung towards that creature, and I hit the wall. The creature disappeared. I thought that it seemed to me since I was watching a horror movie. Then I went to my room and went to bed. At 4 o'clock my brother's alarm clock rang. I started moaning and scolding him because it was still very early. My brother got out of bed in surprise, saying I didn't start the alarm clock. At that time, something fell in the living room. I told my brother to go and check it out. I was very curious and was not afraid of anything and went along with him. When we entered the hall, we saw a broken vase that was standing on the coffee table. We did not betray any significance to this because we thought that it was an accident. Then a second later a knife fell behind us in the kitchen. My brother came up and picked it up, again thinking that it was an accident. Next day, my brother and I studied in the second shift. I studied in the 8th grade, he in the 11th. After breakfast, my brother went to the toilet, closed, and after a couple of minutes I hear the same knock as yesterday. I ran to the toilet and my brother runs out to meet me. He told me that he saw some kind of incomprehensible creature with 3 limbs, all black and dirty. Then I told him that the same thing happened to me yesterday. After a while, my brother and I started dressing for school. We were about to leave when the front door was closed. We started looking for the keys. We couldn't find them anywhere. Then I just happened to look out the window and saw that our keys were hanging on a tree and some piece of paper was attached next to them. It was written so small that I couldn't read it. I called my brother, said that I would get out now, take the keys and open the brother-in-law. While I was getting out I thought who had hung them there. I went to the tree and took the note and the keys. On the note, I'm always there. I opened the front door to my brother-in-law. He came out. I showed him a note. He said, probably friends were joking. And I smelled something not good. After school, I immediately went to do my homework. My brother sat down to play on the computer. There was a mirror on his desk, because he always likes to show off himself. Once again, he decided to look at himself, as he saw that creature behind him. As he grabbed the keyboard, turned around and hid. It was not a creature but his mother. She screamed, "What are you doing?" My brother said that he did not see her in the mirror, but a creature. Mom didn't believe him and punished him. By that time, I was already finishing my lessons. I like to do a lesson on the dressing table. There was a large mirror in front of me. I had already started collecting all the notebooks and textbooks. I looked in the mirror and like my brother I saw a creature. My instinct for self-preservation worked. I grabbed the textbook, turned around, and as I hid it, it was my dad. I apologized. I was sure that I did not see him in the mirror. I went to my brother, told him everything. He listened to me and said everything that happened to him. I sat in perplexity. Late evening. For some reason, I was afraid to go to bed. I even covered the mirror with a towel. Night. My brother's alarm clock rings again. I already get up with fear and go to his room, and I was shocked what my brother was doing. He stood on the bed and wrote "I'm always there" on the wall. I shouted to him, "What are you doing?" He did not answer anything, continued to write. I touched him on the shoulder and he fell. I started shaking him. He jumped up and screamed, "What happened?" I am pointing at the wall. He shouts, "Who did this?" I told him, "You." "Brother, I was asleep." I stand there and don't understand anything. After a couple of seconds I went to my parents to see if they had woken up from the alarm clock. I go into the room. I almost fainted. My parents were standing there and writing on the wall the same thing that my brother wrote. I then called him. He ran and stood in horror. He did not know what to do. I then went up to them, touched them on the shoulder, and they fell on the bed. I told my brother that he was the same thing. We were afraid to sleep. We were sitting in his room with the light on and talking. I look into his small mirror that stands on the table and I see that creature instead of my brother. I jumped away from him and stood in the corner. He looks at me with an incomprehensible look. I go up to him and say, "Look at me in your mirror." He looks and sees the same creature there. I shout to him to calm down. I myself did not understand what was happening. We once again looked in the mirror together. Our parents were standing behind us. We turned with hugs and it wasn't the parents but those strange creatures.